Hello, welcome to Self-Growth Challenges with Tristan. Glad you could make it. If you're a frequent flyer to this channel, you would know I have spent the last year or so focused on growth and improvement. And if you didn't know that because you're new here, hello, the algorithm has finally found my YouTube channel and you're meeting a future celebrity. Anyway, in around November 2019, I was in a very different place in life. Let's just say my actions and mindset, I mean, honestly, I was in a rut. A rut filled with quicksand that I needed to get out of immediately. I was in a cycle of doing and thinking things that kept my self-esteem at about the level of a potato. Now, I'm sure a potato doesn't even have self-esteem. I mean, if it did, then yikes. I mean, no hate on a potato, but you know, when it's valued with a different food item, let's say tiramisu, a potato sits pretty low on the self-esteem scale. What we are aiming for here, folks, is tiramisu grade self-esteem. We want the layers, we want the complexity, we want the cognac and espresso dipped ladyfingers layered in with the mascarpone cheese and cream, and last but not least, topped with the sweet and savory cacao powder. Allow me to briefly summarize what I was doing to keep my self-esteem at the level of a potato without boring you. I wasn't doing any of the things that I actually wanted to do because I was trapped in a thought and action pattern where I convinced myself that I was never going to achieve anything that I wanted in life because I was not capable and also not worthy, so I just as well continue my cycle of self-sabotage and negative thoughts and maybe try again when I'm reincarnated into a leaf. Thankfully, I became woke enough to realize that I needed to change all of my patterns and habits in order to get myself in a place where I could actually live the life that I wanted. So that's what I started doing in 2020. More than 40% of the actions you perform every day aren't decisions, they're habits. Habits that with a lot of practice, patience, and effort can be removed or replaced. That being said, I knew that breaking a habit was not about the habit itself, but more so about understanding how habits are formed and how to form new ones. I knew that I needed to be persistent, disciplined, and consistent with what I was doing, and I also knew that I needed to challenge myself with something that wouldn't bore me, and it would also be something that I would want to continue for the long run. So what I decided to do was challenge myself to exercise for 90 days in a row. I'd say the hardest part of the 90-day challenge was the first 2 weeks. There would be mornings when my 4:30 alarm would go off and the first thought to pop into my head was, I don't feel like it today, which would lead my brain to trying everything in its power to keep me in that bed. Maybe it was raining, or maybe I just felt a little sore and didn't want to unroll the yoga mat. Get up, lazy. Fine. As the days turned to weeks, I started noticing that I was getting out of bed and reaching for my workout gear without needing to make a conscious effort of it first. And then after 30 days, it became such a, I guess, routine of my morning that frankly, it started to feel a little boring and I guess easy. It was kind of like I needed to do it in order for me to be able to continue the rest of my day. The real razzle-dazzle started when my morning runs became running in the sunrise to walking out my front door in complete darkness with a headlamp so I don't run into a pole, and that's when everything took a really spicy turn. This challenge had gone from something rather boring where I would go out on morning runs in a beautiful sunrise hearing the birds just out of a fairy tale to running in the dark around a street corner only to find a little family of skunks drinking water out of a puddle. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. It got spicier. One morning, I was running through the park on a trail, and coming the exact direction toward me was a coyote. I know, right? Who would have thought that animals live in the city? Actually, just yesterday, we ran into each other again. However, this was in the fog, and it was actually following me, and I got really freaked out, and I was like, what do I do? What do I do? So you know what I did? I literally just hissed at it like a cat and it ran away. Let's just say that Coyote and I have a really rocky friendship and 2 times was enough. I don't need to see it a 3rd time. So now that I have successfully completed the 90-day challenge, I wanted to share with you some of what I learned and some changes that I experienced. So the first being that I have become incredibly productive. Part of me thinks it's because I'm starting my mornings first thing with rigorous exercise, so I'm getting my heart pumping, and I guess that energy is being maintained throughout the day, so therefore I'm just getting more stuff done. And I also think it has a lot to do with discipline. So since for 90 days I could not procrastinate exercising, I think I subconsciously just stopped procrastinating some other things that I needed to get done, because looking back, I've accomplished a lot. The second change that I've experienced is an increase in my self-esteem. I actually started feeling good about myself, which led me to a point where I realized that we have a lot more control over our own thoughts and actions than we may think, and we're definitely a lot more capable than we lead ourselves to believe. And since I successfully completed this 90-day challenge, I just have so much more faith in my abilities to start challenging myself with other things, because ultimately, I guess the only thing holding us back from what we want to do is ourselves. The third thing that I learned was that 90 days is not enough. It can't be the end of this. The whole point of this challenge was to master and practice the art of developing a good habit, and habits must be maintained because the good effects don't last on their own. So I think the best move from here is maintaining this habit that I have now and starting on a new one. And with all of that being said, I would like to hear from you. What is one bad habit that you want to break out of? And what is one good habit that you want to form? And why do you want to do so? Let me know down below, and I will see you down there. Goodbye. Oh my god, Tristan, stop eating the prop. Put it away.